Emil Durkheim and Karl Marx. I have 2 videos on Marx, two videos on Durkheim, so I have that in my social theory playlist, which is small right now, but it's growing little by little. I'm reading out of this anthology, Social Theory, the Multicultural and Classic Readings by Charles Lambert, 3rd edition. This has so much in it, like literally so much in it. I mean, it's just like so much. I mean, in the beginning, he does go chronologically as well as by topic, but in the beginning, in the first part, he talks about, or he gives selections from Karl Marx, Emil Durkheim, and Max Weber, as well as Friedrich Engels, Jane Addams, and yeah, I think that's it. And then and then Freud too. I think he gives some stuff on Freud, which I would like to talk about, but I don't know enough about Freud to really talk about it. I mean, I've read some Freud, but yeah. So I'm gonna slowly but surely kind of do lots of stuff on this. Oh yeah, okay. The spirit of capitalism, for one thing, is something I would like to kind of discuss. The spirit of capitalism is not a good thing. It sounds like in the phrase kind of might make you think it as a good thing, but in this state, capitalism is not a positive thing. It's more of a negative thing. That's why I want to connect Marx and Durkheim. So I think that Durkheim's anomie and Marx's class struggle and estranged labor connect with this too. So capitalism is connected to an end, or a telos, or a ethos. I would prefer to talk about it as a telos. Telos. There's the capitalism. The capitalism, if you don't know what it is, it's basically what the USA, as well as various other governments in the U.S. today, is. Communism has passed. It's found that does not work. And today, I mean, except for like China. China has a different kind of communism that is not all that similar to the Lenin and Stalin and the Eastern European stuff like that. Capitalism is connected to, of course, capital. The element or the thing that is the telos, or end, that capitalism is there for is money, capital, profit. Capital is an end it's an end in itself. So it's a teleological thing. It's the whole governmental economical structure of capitalism is for capital, for to produce money, of course, or to produce capital, basically, whether you want to view that as product or money. I would look at it as money, because product is money. If you're a business or a government, whatever, you're going to be thinking about money, of course. The ethic of having a duty to prosper. So the spirit part of this is the fact that it's like a obligation or duty to be prosperous. It's to have money and to try to get more and more and more. It's just like the spirit of capitalism, according to Weber, is to go after that end that is capital. The end itself is capital. So this ethic, this code of conduct, is to go after that and to just produce as much as possible and more and more and more. Now, if you think about it, you can just take a look anywhere in today's today's world. You can find this ethic in action. People care more about building housing developments or commercial developments rather than keeping a natural life habitat around. Something happened in Omaha recently, where there was a natural life habitat in northeast Omaha. Pretty much what happened there is that a while ago, the mayor made that a natural habitat area, and it was to not be disturbed. I read that in the paper today, and pretty much what happened is that most of those trees, most of that habitat, which was flourishing with birds and stuff, got demolished. A lot of it didn't even need to be, but it was demolished so that you could run power lines, or as well as it's pretty much just like a lot of power lines to give power from northeast Omaha coal plant to Midtown and downtown Omaha. But anyway, that is, in my opinion, is one sense. We care about because to give power to a place is concerned with making money from housing developments. Housing developments were put there for the purpose of not as importantly to give people a place to live, but for the purpose of making money. Weber says that the spirit is not a natural thing. It's not a natural element. It's not natural to just strive to gain as much money as possible, more capital, as a business or as a government. It's not natural to be to undergo processes like that. He says that one could, or a entity or a business or a government could just strive to gain subsistence, to survive, basically, and not take any more than that. And I think that is a very good thing. This is where I would connect it to Marx and Durkheim. The Iron Cage. It is a kind of a rationalization inherent in social life by Western capitalist societies that traps people in systems based on this teleological efficiency of producing product and capital. It's translated as Iron Cage. It could also be translated as shell as hard as steel. So it's this realization, I guess, that about this capital agenda that kind of traps people in this capitalist system of the efficiency of producing this certain ends of capital and profit or in money. Of course, that's just kind of the way it is. So that's the Iron Cage, and then we have the concept of a bureaucracy. I want to tell you what I'm reading from here. There's a selection from Max Weber's The Protestant Ethic, which is where the selection, the spirit of capitalism and the iron cage comes from. And then we have we also have the bureaucracy, or the bureaucratic machine. That's just from the writing Bureaucracy. A bureaucracy is pretty much an organization within a business or government that pretty much is a way of administratively organizing large numbers of people who need to work together. So a bureaucracy is pretty much just an administration that will organize processes within a group who need to work together, and there are means that a bureaucracy needs to go after, which is definitely true. Those things are to promote public good, to protect the nation, if we're talking about a government, and 3, sustain a strong economy. Also, if we're talking about a bureaucracy within a government. A bureaucracy implements government as well, and the bureaucrats also are policymakers. They are to function on a public or private sectors, within universities, government also, as well as a business. So pretty much we have a bureaucracy and bureaucrats, which are to promote public good, to protect the nation, and to sustain a strong economy. So what in those 3 things is there the spirit of capitalism? And the truth is there is no place for that, and I think that often will have detrimental effects on the economy. If you read Emil Durkheim, he will talk to you about the anomie. That is pretty much a defect in society. It comes a lot from lack of moral constraints. Anomie is pretty much like where a lot of norms and understandings of what certain things are no longer understood between various peoples. It's common values are not all shared anymore. Common understandings are also not shared anymore. I have a full video on that, which is in my playlist that this video is in. So you can there's that video over there has a lot more about Durkheim's anomie. But the main point I want to really talk about here is that, similar with Weber, to prevent such issues as anomie, is to implement moral constraints. A big part of what causes anomie is the lack of that. There's various reasons for why that is, of course, but that's what he was saying. It's basically a defect within the function of society, and that's pretty much because of certain higher entities, most likely, who are not staying within a set of moral constraints. And Durkheim says that we need to implement some certain moral constraints to prevent such defects from happening. Marx, on the other hand, says that what causes classes primarily is this estranged labor kind of thing, for one, and one class having the resources and the profit and all this stuff, and the other class not having any of that and just having to work to get money. And he proposes a classless communist society, of course. But the way you can link all three of these is that the spirit of capitalism, of always moving towards more and more capital, more profit, is that in a political state, in a government, in a economy, the way to regulate that is to have some kind of ethic or code of conduct within the whole thing of having a means of what Weber says that should be one of the three things that a bureaucracy should do is, one, to promote public good, protect the nation, and sustain a strong economy. And I think that the promote the public good and the sustain a strong economy are kind of closely related, because if we have an aim of these things to promote public good and to sustain the economy, that's not the same thing as a capitalist spirit. It's not the same thing as going after more and more capital. Capital should not be the end of a political entity at all. I mean, and I see that today. I mean, a lot of the Occupy protesters are protesting against this very thing, is protesting against the government to a certain extent, as well as the top few percentage of people who have the most resources, who don't care about the public good or the economy of the nation. And that is not all the issues, but a big part of the issues within this nation, as well as others, is that as in the government and the senators and even the president, as well as the top 1%. I'm not an Occupy protester. I don't believe in this 1 versus 99 thing. There are lots of good rich people who do give, and if there's a rich person who doesn't want to give, so be it. I mean, then if we have companies like AIG or companies like the IRS who go on these big huge vacations, or use money use taxpayer money for like no reason whatsoever except for themselves. That's the kind of thing I'm kind of talking about here. If you're a business, government, or a university or whatever, if you are a relatively small or large entity, political, business, or whatever, you should have a means not only for sustaining yourself, but also to be a service to the public as well. Especially a government. If a business doesn't want to do that, then fine. But a government should have the desire, I guess, that's not the right word, but should have the desire to promote public good and do all these things that Weber says a bureaucracy should do, and that does not involve the capitalist spirit. It doesn't involve more and more capital and profit and money. It should be to go after the subsistence of the public and of each person, if if possible, to do what can be done with a certain budget. So yeah, that's my kind of thought on that. Now that's kind of a shoot-off kind of discussion, but I think if we think about Marx and Durkheim and Weber, what we can see is that this teleological end of going after capital is not the way to run a government. It's the wrong way. And I think that if we have a total government that has a bunch of people over here, and like this, like conservative, a bunch of people over here, say liberal, who are not going to get anything done because of their political partisan concerns, that's not promoting public good either. So anything that doesn't go for promoting public good should not be within a governmental entity by any means. Thanks. Let me know your thoughts.